Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome, Abhishek.
Yes, and a welcome to all of you who have come in for the event. I know it's not one of the plush, air-conditioned banquet halls in a five-star hotel, but that's what you do when you go to an event of a sports company like Puma. You get to the ground where the action is there.
Correct. Abhishek, Puma have targeted the corporate running market very, very aggressively. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Sure. So being a leading sports brand in the country and probably the leading running brand in the country, we thought that it is our responsibility to trigger the running movement in the country, which is happening all across, not just in Mumbai, but in all key cities of the country. India is getting more sports-oriented. The youths, the kids want to run more. Running is a key ingredient to success in sports. And we want to drive this running movement. It's our responsibility, as I said. And we realized that one of the best places to start with is the corporate India, because that's where people are today wanting to stay fit. They're running races, they're running marathons, half marathons. And we came in with this concept where we joined hands with Runners for Life, where it is a corporate running tournament. It's 5 kilometers into 4. It's a corporate relay. So not just it promotes running and fitness, but it also promotes, in some ways, corporate camaraderie and spirit. So running as a thread in organizations to tie people together, and there can be nothing more motivating than sports itself. So that's the idea of Urban Stampede. I'm so glad to be a part of this event.
Fantastic. I believe you have a video to show us on the Urban Stampede.
Yes, about what we have reached in Urban Stampede and where we're going to go. Yeah.
Fantastic. Can we have that? Who's dashing? I was the person who made him run a lot a few years ago.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about running and how important it is it in cricket?
Well, I suppose from my perspective, I stood out as a cricket player, definitely not as a batsman with a very average, but what certainly, I suppose, made people stand up and notice was the agility that I had in the field and the ability to go all day in the field. And I think that was important, that fitness levels then weren't even considered. You know, it's become such a scientific process too. And if you think about the apps and utilizing technology, but those days when you were chasing me around the field, it was pretty much there and back as fast as you could, and making sure that your fitness levels were maintained to a degree where you could play at the top level for all, the entire game. Whereas now it's become very specific with regards to, or very scientific even. If you're a batsman, a bowler, a wicketkeeper even, you've got a fitness trainer giving you those specific deals or jobs to do. And I think the greatest thing about running is that you can be anybody, and you can be any shape and size, and you can just get a pair of shoes on
and do it.
Hit the road.
Hit the road. A couple of years ago, it's exactly like what he said. Our fitness was we put 2 cones 20 meters apart and we sprinted 10 times and did 20 sets after every single practice session. I can vouch for what his work ethic was like back then, and I know how much of hours you put in then. But can you tell us, what is Jonty's personal training regime like right now?
Well, right now it's about changing nappies at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, that's quite a difficult thing. Probably the toughest job that I've ever had to do. And fortunately, I'm kitted out for that very difficult task. But it's, for me, it's also about mixing up sports. And I grew up in South Africa with a lot of open space, which you don't always get here in India, which is why running is such a good option, because you don't need a pair of cricket spikes or hockey, hockey boots and a hockey stick. I think what I try and do is mix up as much as possible. So in India, I do visit the gym. I spend a lot of time on the field at practice. I have sort of 4 or 5 guys, not even 5, maybe 3 or 4 guys at a time, which is quite high intensity. But in South Africa, at home, I get a mountain bike, I've got a surfboard. I do have a pair of running shoes which sit there and cry and look at me and want me to take them out on the road a bit more often. But I like being outdoors, so it's not difficult to get me out. But I do like to mix it up. And I think that's, as a fielding coach in India, it's always a concern for me is that people, when you play cricket, it's just about running forwards and backwards. Football, badminton, they're all those sort of games that I grew up playing hockey, soccer. They all allowed me to field the way that I did, because it's sideways movement and it's giving you agility and explosive power. And, as soccer players, one behind here, will show again that it's not just about, running forward.
Yeah, super. Jonty was the person who taught me that all those hours of practice is about preparing for an opportunity you don't know you're going to get. And that was one secret and one tip that I learned from him. So, and I've kept that with me all these years. Fantastic.
Pay me later. Sure of it.
Super. Ladies and gentlemen, and he's a multi-marathon runner himself, Mr. Amit War, please welcome. Super. Super. Amit, welcome to Puma Urban Stampede. You and your corporate is pioneering running in the country. You have something like, I believe, 4,000 employees who will be taking part in this event right now. You yourself are a marathon runner, a multi-marathon runner. Can you tell us why you're using running as a platform to drive health and wellness in the corporate industry? Mumbai Marathon. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Hayden.